Hey everybody, JTISREBORN here, and welcome to another edition of my Batman the Animated Series reviews. This time, we're finally on to Season 2 with episode number 66, Sideshow. Okay, this is one of the only episodes to take place entirely outside of Gotham City. I think it's this and Demon's Quest Part 2. This entire episode, nothing is in Gotham City, which I like about it, because there's been other episodes that have been mostly set outside of Gotham. But, like, this is one where it's completely, like, no setting in the city whatsoever, which I appreciate. So, this episode, Killer Croc is being transported to some other prison. Batman's on the run after him. Killer Croc escapes using his jaws, saying, like, you know, crocodiles have the strongest bite force of, like, any animal in the animal kingdom, which, you know, I think it's true. I mean, they have it's definitely up there. But anyway, so Killer Croc escapes, and he ends up in, like, the countryside. And he comes across this, like, gang of, like, former circus performers. Like, you know, they got, like, you know that movie Greatest Showman that just came out? Just think, like, Barnum and Bailey, like, kind of like, I guess, you know, they look different. So, like, there's some kid with, like, flippers, there's Siamese twins, there's, like, a hunchback, there's some really tall, strong guy. And they're just peacefully living their lives. They take Croc in, and then, you know, you get the sense that, I think, if Batman didn't track him down, that maybe if Croc was there for an extended period of time, it could have worked for some, like, really strong character development for his character. Like, maybe he starts to turn a new leaf, and then maybe he starts to... I mean, of course, if this were, like... If you wanted to redeem Killer Croc and make him, you know, a better, like, you know, person on the inside, I think this could have been a strong way if this was a couple-episode arc or something, like, to where Croc can kind of make a, you know, almost like a face turn, if you will. Like, because there were some moments where you definitely kind of sense that maybe Croc was starting... I mean, he has his criminal intentions, and you see this group of people, they really start to care for him throughout the episode. There's Goliath, who's like this really tall, strong guy, who's actually voiced by Brad Garrett, who actually is the voice of Lobo in, like, Superman the Animated Series and the rest of the DC Animated Universe. There's a seal boy named Billy. You got, like, May and June, who are these Siamese twins. And then you have Richard, who's kind of the leader of it all, who's voiced by Kenneth Mars, who, whenever I hear that voice, I just immediately think The Land Before Time. So, and then, you know, you got, you know, Kevin Conroy as Bruce Wayne and Batman, of course. But, like, that's basically, in essence, like, the whole cast of the episode. Yeah, so, basically, Croc was going to go to, like, Levitt's prison, or whatever, for all his crimes, which was outside of Gotham, and he ends up here. And they take him in, they tell him about, like, their situation, how, like, hey, you can be yourself here. And Croc initially, he's trying to cover up his tracks, like, he lies to them to say, hey, he was kept in chains and all that other stuff, and he was going to steal their money and walk away, but the kid came out and he hid it behind his back and he quickly put it away. Like, and during the episode, you actually do see him kind of, like, help out with things, and then he looks like he's kind of, like, starting to like his life there, and he's starting to appreciate things. And you do wonder, maybe if Batman never did show up, Croc may have just ended up kind of living here, and he could have found kind of like a happy lifestyle. I think this could have been a tremendous character growth arc for him if you did it over the course of a few episodes, or maybe Batman sees this and sees him kind of adapting, and maybe he tries to do something where he actually, you know, is like, you know what, Croc, I'm going to put you in the prison, or I don't think he would ever do this, but, like, I kind of like the idea of Croc, you know, staying here and, like, kind of turning for the better. I think it would have made it a little more powerful and more effective of his character in that. But, you know, that's just me. But in the end of the episode, like, Batman shows up, and then Croc, like, throws him into, like, captures him, puts him in one of those little cages that's on, like, wheels used for, like, holding animals and stuff. And he's basically, they all got him just like, you can't do, the circus folk are on Croc's side initially, and then Croc is just like, you know, we gotta kill him or something like that. And then they're like, no, we don't do that. And then he starts to, you know, fight all the people like Brad Garrett and that, or Goliath, I should say. Like, he starts to fight them, and he locks them up too. And the little kid Billy really kind of likes him too. He's like, hey, Croc, we can do all this stuff. We can go swimming in that. Like I said, I do wish this episode could have, like, turned out differently. I mean, true, we would have got more Killer Croc-centered episodes, but I do think it could have honestly been something, like, wholly unique. I mean, they have the characters. I think this could have been... This had potential to be even better, but as a standalone episode, I think it's really solid. Eventually, Batman escapes his, you know, contraption, captures Croc, and then, like, kind of the end of the episode, like, the kid's just like, why'd you do it, Croc? Why are you doing this? Like, we could have helped you. You know this, right? And he's just like, you know what? I was just doing what you told me to do, kid, which was being myself. And then he's kind of taken away, and that's kind of the end of the episode. So it definitely has a sense of tragedy to it. And it's an episode I really, really liked. In terms of Killer Croc-centered episodes, this is probably my personal favorite. But I do think, like I said before, it had potential to be even better than what it, could have been. But what are you going to do? So, anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I really liked it. I think it's the strongest Killer Croc episode, at least at this point on my rewatching. There's like this in Vendetta, and then I think he makes a cameo in some other episodes. But in terms of Killer Croc-centered episodes, this is probably my favorite. But I think I do kind of wish that they would have, gone for like the character growth moments for Croc. I think it could have been something kind of special, but they didn't end up going with it, and they kept it like standalone. Of course, he's back to being a villain again. But I do think, like I said, it could have been something special, but they ended up not going with that. But anyways, that's all I got to say about this episode. Thank you everyone for watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to reviewing more episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Not much else to say here, but thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Take care now. Bye-bye then.